Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Everardo Resendiz. People know me around here as Coach Ever, and I'm a certified executive and business coach over here in Action Coach at Northwest Louisiana. Today, I have Victor Whitfield, um, owner and CEO of Circle Homes, as my guest. And we're going to be talking about his business, the journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek into what really it's like to own and operate a business. If this is your first time on the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop new conversations just like this one. And so, Victor, welcome and thank you for being here today. Would you share a brief overview of your background and tell us a little bit about the business?
Okay, well, thank you, Alvarado, for having me. It's great to talk to you again. It's been a minute since we've seen each other, and well, my background is actually I have a sales background, and I started in sales, and I worked in sales for many years, and many years being defined as something like maybe 15, 20 years, and I ventured into. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always had businesses ever since I was 10. Started out cutting yards and things like that. I had several businesses before I went into construction. I had a collection agency. I had a gym. I had an income tax firm, and then I went into real estate and construction at the early 2000s, 2001, 2000, 1999. Back in that area, I went into real estate and construction, and I've kind of been there ever since.
Very good. And so, set the stage for our listeners, our viewers. What's the ownership structure like? I mean, are you the sole owner? Do you have any partners in the business?
It's a corporation. It's an S corp. For those of you who are familiar with the United States tax code, it's an S corporation, and we, at the current moment, we do not have investors. I'm the sole owner, and we're out here in the process to scale. We are looking for investors. We're actively looking for investors because let me give you just a 30-second version of that. When I was in East Texas, Northeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, I didn't need the backing of investors to try to scale because scale wasn't on it wasn't on the horizon or on the map, if you will. When I moved the business to Dallas Fort Worth, all of a sudden scale becomes imminent. You got to do it. It's kind of like I say, it's like solid, scale or die. So at that point, I realized we've got to actively go out for investors.
Wonderful. And so, what is your current role in the business? What do you do?
A little of everything. My primary duty is the everyday operations of the business. At this point, what I'm doing is lead generation, marketing, and sales. Those are the prime. If I had to define them in three areas, that would be lead generation, marketing, and sales.
Very good. And so, when you look at your role, how many hours do you spend working in it as opposed to on it? You know, the part where you get to decide the strategy, actually looking for those investors, the next steps for growth.
About 30 hours looking for investors and about 30 hours building the business. It's kind of it's hard to conceptualize. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it's hard to put it into a silo, if you will, because everybody could be an investor or everybody could be a customer. And when I say everybody, I don't literally mean everybody, but you run into people on a day-to-day basis that could be investors or could be customers. I've run into it both ways. I've had people who I thought would be good targets for, not targets, it's not the right word, would be good candidates for investors that turn out to be customers. And I've run into people who I thought would be good candidates for being
Customers.
investors and they turn out to be customers. Right.
That's awesome. And so, well, let's move on to what the business, why is it special? Okay. So, who primarily does your business serve? If I were in the audience, how will I know I was a good fit for your services?
You were looking to build a home and you wanted transparency in the build process, then Circle Homes would be the company, custom home. If you want a custom home and you want transparency in the process, then Circle Homes will be the company to look at. The reason for that is that we use what's referred to in the industry as a design, build, concept or model. And what the design build model does is you have a definition of everything that goes in your house before we push dirt. That is antithetical to the construction industry because the construction industry is primarily what we call a bid build industry. What the bid build does is you take a set of plans and you go to a builder, and that builder gives you a price on what they would charge you to build that house. And then they tell you, they say, well, Alvarado, we're going to uh, give you X amount of dollars for your options that you want to put into the house. That includes your doors, your windows, and things like that. And where has it's gotten twisted in the past is that primarily a lot of times what the builders have given you for an allowance to get what I call trim items in your home has been inadequate to get what people want in their home. It's kind of like when you go to shop for something and you've been given a budget that's way below what you actually spend. And the customer has to come up with that money before they can get what they want. So to rectify that situation, we didn't invent design build. Design build has been around for a very long time. We adapted it from the commercial side. Design build is a commercial application, and we took a commercial application and applied it to residential. And so far, we've been in it. We just had our 5th customer that finished the design system, and everybody has been just loved it. They loved it. Some of them, we had 2 customers who had built custom homes in the past, and we should have been doing this before.
I love it. So, does anybody else do that in your market? Are you the only one who's offering that sort of thing?
As far as I know, we're the only ones offering that. The reason for it is because there's an upfront cost. Design is not free, and it's not inexpensive either. It's kind of expensive.
Yeah, it is. Well, if you really want to have a vision come to reality, what you want, you're gonna have to put the money up front to make it happen.
You do. It's kind of like what I say. I call it pay to play. If you want to play, you gotta pay.
That's right. And so, how do your competitors compare against you?
The competitors, as far as what? Uh,
Other home builders in your area.
Okay, the competitors, we have advantages and we have disadvantages. Disadvantages that we have at this particular moment is being new to the market. And when you're new to the market, there's a lot of, I don't know what word I'm searching for, where people distrust, for lack of a better term. We don't know who you are. We haven't heard
You need to
about
build your
you.
credibility.
Right, we need to build our credibility, and we're working on that through our marketing and things of that nature. One of the things that is an advantage for us is we are a smaller company, so we're able to move more quickly when we find a shift in the market. So once we find the niche that we're going to serve, a defined niche, we're able to move with it almost immediately without having to bring along a whole organizational structure to be able to implement that. So instead of having to get 50 people on board, we only have to get 3 or 4.
Gotcha.
So that's an
Hey,
advantage that we have.
so, what's one thing you wish more people knew about your business?
I wish that they knew that we were a company that works on 3 principles, what I call the EIP principle: excellence, integrity, and performance. Excellence, E is for excellence in all of our dealings. I is integrity, honesty in all our dealings, and P is performance, which is execution at the highest level possible. So EIP, that's what, if I had to say anything that I wish people knew about us, they adhere to EIP.
Love it. It's a good way to create an image for the customer. And
Yeah, and
so
that's what we use. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask, I mean, you were talking about marketing. How much of these is in it? What do you do for marketing? How do you get this message out to the marketplace?
We use a combination of website. Our website has been redesigned, SEO, search engine optimization on the internet, and we use YouTube. We use, I don't know if you're familiar with landing pages,
Yeah.
but we have landing pages that we use, and what we try to do is we're the internet side of our marketing. We try to get people to hit on the landing page, and we give them some kind of incentive, if you will, to leave their three pieces of information: their first and last name, their cell phone number, and their email address. And what we do is we run them into a CRM. And then when that CRM, we do what I call email, text, and actually contact by phone marketing. And we have a home buyers club that we also utilize too. And we try to make that to move a customer from not knowing who we are to cold to lukewarm to warm to hot and then to closed.
So you're using a CRM system for this?
Yes, yes, we have a CRM on the back end of it. And our whole goal for our marketing with the website, the landing page, and YouTube is to get that contact to be able to push into the CRM to be able to market to them through the Home Buyers Club.
You said that you have built about 5 homes in the Dallas area using your new concept, right?
Yeah, I've
Or
had
five
five clients,
customers that
yes.
you have serviced. Um, which one of the strategies or the things that you do brought you these customers? Was it the home buyers club? Was it the YouTube, the website? Was it people in your network? You know, what do you think?
Actually, you're going to really like this one. Actually, this is a lead from Shreveport. I built a lot of houses in Shreveport. And they were in Shreveport, and they came by and looked at one of the houses that we built, and they were really impressed with what we did, how we did the work, and everything like that. And when they moved to Dallas, we moved to Dallas, but neither one of us knew that the other was in Dallas. And I happened to run into them at a restaurant. And they asked me, "Are you, what are you doing here?" They thought I was my daughter lives in Dallas, okay? And they thought I was here to see her. And I told her, yeah, well, because we were all out as a family. We went to the restaurant as a family. And I told them, I said, yeah, well, we all here eating and everything. And I was like, I moved the company to Dallas, right? And the guy said, really? And I'm like, yeah, we moved to Dallas and everything. I asked myself, well, are y'all in Shreveport? You still in Shreveport? No, we're here in Dallas. And then we had each other's contact information already. And the guy told me to give him a call. And something gnawed at me and kept gnawing at me. And about a week went by. And about a week later, I called him on the phone and he told me, I'm glad you called. The reason I told you to give me a call, we have been thinking about building a custom home in Dallas. I was like, wow. So that's how that one came to pass. And
Those
now
things don't
we have
happen
other.
by accident, Victor.
No, no, they don't. We have one, and we have another one in the pipeline that actually came through that system, but that one hasn't gone to closing in contract yet.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Well, listen, we spent a bunch of time focused on the business and sharing a few of your practices with the audience. I'd love to step back a little bit and dive into the journey a little bit more. So, you mentioned you've been doing lots of things. You've been an entrepreneur of many businesses, right?
Yes, I
Um,
have. Yes.
so, why do you choose this one? Why the building of custom homes, build design?
Wanted to make a difference. I love watching a home go from being nothing but dirt to handing the keys to a person. I love the smile that's on people's face when you do a good job. That's what motivates me more than anything.
So when you look at your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock um, that you were challenged with, or the hurdle, okay, that you were forced to overcome? What will have been
Customer,
the hardest time for you?
yeah, difficult customers. I've had, I've had in my career, I've had two very difficult customers, and they challenged me in ways that I didn't even think I could be challenged, and to the point they were so difficult that I actually had examined whether I wanted to continue in this business. And both of them were out east. One was out in Shreveport, and one was in Marshall. But they pushed me to the point to where I actually thought about just walking away. It was that big of a challenge. And finally, they finally I got them overcome. And what it did, I didn't realize what I was going through at the time. I talked about earlier systemizing the business, but what it did, it enabled me to put guardrails up for to flesh out the next customer like that. You
Mm,
have in any business, and I'm trying to put this as positive as I can. In any business that you have, everybody is not going to be your customer.
yes,
And if I had to say one thing to entrepreneurs, uh, just remember that you're going to have some people who they're going to be better suited to be with your competitors.
that's right.
And you'll need to have some kind of system in place that will flesh those out. Two things that I found out that were I sat down, Alvarado, and I analyzed both of those situations. And I found two big things that were really common with both of those cases, even though one was in Shreveport and one was in Marshall, one in Louisiana, one in Texas. The thing that they had in common, the two things that they had in common was the first one, they didn't want to go through the process. That was the number one. The second thing was that they were cheap. Entrepreneurs, if you never heard nothing that's just been said in this conversation that we've been having here, avoid cheap customers like the plague. They will burn you. And if you're, most of the people who are entrepreneurs are eternal optimists. These people who challenged me were eternal pessimists. Our demeanors
Yeah,
didn't
yeah. I know
vibe.
exactly what you mean. Yes. So,
And we did and I saw that that was from the beginning. But I like I mentioned earlier in our conversation, I'm one of those old school salespeople who the customer's always right, and let's see if we can get something for everybody. Let's make it fit for everybody. I don't have that philosophy anymore.
so what is your philosophy now?
My philosophy now is I'm going to meet people where they at as long as they allow me to do that. And we're going to do the best that we can based upon the set of circumstances that presented to us. And once we find out that this customer is somebody we can deal with, we're going to go even harder. And if we find out there's somebody who we can't deal with them, then we're going to cut bait and go on. That's one of the beautiful things about the design process. The design process is totally different from the construction process.
Right.
And during the design process, you get a good opportunity to look at people and you're meeting them where they are because there's a lot of time that things have to change in the design of the home. And you get an opportunity to see just how they're going to act when the construction actually starts. And of those five that I was talking about that had gone through, those are the five that made it through. We've actually had eight. Three of them fell out after design because we walked away. Because that red flag that I was telling you about that was running both in the one in Northwest Louisiana and the one in Northeast Texas, they exhibited those flags. And so we cut bait and we went on. And we told them, here's your plans, here's your portfolio, here's everything that we did according to our agreement. So what I need you to do now is need you to find another builder because we're not going to be able to work with you because our philosophies do not run parallel to one another.
Right. So you created let's call it a sifter where you really determine if you're going to move into different stages that this is the right thing for both of us because this is not just for you. If you're not going to be able to meet their expectations, being high as they are, with the least amount of money they can spend, you're probably not going to be able to meet their expectations. That they need to find somebody that will. Does that make sense?
Said it better. We can't meet, and I'm gonna use that as our. If we have to cut bait again, I'm gonna use that as our analysis. We can't meet your expectations. That is absolutely right. The meeting of their expectations is totally their expectations are unreal, and maybe somebody else can bring them. I love that. I love that. I'm going to use that. Yes, yes, and that's what we do.
So
We want to meet people's expectations. If we can't meet them, they need to find somebody else who can.
that's right. Hey, it's good for both of us. It's not just good for me. It's good for you too. I want you to have success. I'm not the one who's going to be able to provide that for you. I had experience with that too.
Let me say
So,
this. Can I say this right quick?
yeah,
There was a time in my career, this is what I was talking about earlier, where I was on the customer's always right, and now I'm like, we got to meet the customer where they are. What you just said sums that up and everything, because I realize now that we can meet everybody's expectations, and that's where we are. That's where we are. Some people we're going to meet their expectations, some we are not, and the ones we're not going to try because you're going to set yourself up for failure when you do that.
love it. Very good, Victor. Well, as we move towards this, we have covered a lot of things. And I want to make sure that this is concise enough for people to absorb. Okay, so we're gonna encourage people who are watching to save these and come back, review it. There are good nuggets here that they may be able to share with others that will make a difference for them. And so, as we begin to wrap up, I have a few rapid fire questions for you. Okay, so quick
So,
top of head answers for each. Okay, so what is the
okay.
key to success for you?
The key to success is hard work using defined systems and goals.
Very good. What is the one piece of advice for other business owners?
Develop a system.
For everything.
Everything.
So, what is one book that you are reading now or have read most recently?
Winning by Tim Grover.
Very
That
good.
that is a great book.
Win It by Tim. What was the last name?
Grover, Tim Grover.
Okay, Tim Grover.
Winning. The book is Winning. He was Michael Jordan's coach.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and he wrote, and I'll have to look and see, and what I'll text you or email you if that's not it, but I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. I read that book, and that book made a difference in me. Okay,
Love
just
it.
reading the book. Yeah, but I read it about. I've read some books since then, but that's that's the biggest impact on me in the last 6 months or so.
Love it. Okay. So, if you had to choose only one area of your business you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would that be?
If I could immediately grow it tomorrow,
Improve it?
oh, sales.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sales
sales.
or sales? Okay.
Sales.
Very good.
Yeah.
So Zig Ziglar says nothing ever happens unless there's a sale. The sales need to make, a
Yeah.
priority. All right. Before we get into the final question of the day, how can other people learn more about your company? How can they get in contact with you?
Okay. Our website is Circle Homes Builder, CircleHomesBuilder.com. It's under construction, but it will be up in probably about 2 to 3 weeks. I can be reached by phone at 903-926-7609. 903-926-7609. Or you can send me an email at circlehomes01@gmail.com. CircleHomes01@gmail.com. Now, let me give them a caveat there. In about 3 weeks or so, that email would change, but I'm gonna have where to forward it to, because we'll have an email that's following the website, which will be like Victor@circlehomesbuilder.com when our website goes live again.
Wonderful. Victor, last question of the day. What's most inspiring for you today?
The most inspiring thing for me today is being able to leave a legacy. That's been inspiring to me, to be able to look back on my life and say, you've done great. Let's do bigger things going forward.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me. And it's good to see you again. It's good to talk to you, man.
Thank you,
It
Victor.
really is.
I look forward to connecting with you. Okay. And for
Okay.
those who are watching, the audience, thank you for watching and sharing. Again, you may never know who you inspire by sharing this with them. Make it a great day. And until next time.